Hello, beautiful strangers, and welcome back to another episode of Myth. When last we left off, we made plans to go see the village chief, and we were starting one of my, I couldn't say favorite scenes, but it is a scene that I remember. Oh boy. Oh man. If you're squeamish, lighthearted, find things that are deeply disturbing or disgusting, or, you know, that sort of thing, I would recommend skipping past this. I think I made this warning before and was wrong that time, but I'm not this time because this is the scene. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? Long, long ago, there was a wife and a husband who loved one another. They were good friends from childhood. They knew everything about each other. They were always together, both at school and even when they worked. This is the tale of their love. Sorry, did I keep you waiting? The girl treasured the boys so much. Nah, I just got here. A cheap lie. The girl was over 30 minutes late, but he still lied, because the girl loved those kind lies of his. Morgana. She felt so happy seeing him smile wryly like that. There you are. Hi, pretty girl. I will play with you after I finish recording. She felt so happy seeing him smile wryly like that. Hey, Keikun. She spoke to him, even though she knew he had a habit of falling asleep on the train. So why? She loved to play with the boy's fingernails. She knew that he didn't like that, though. So, the reason she spoke to him was to make sure he was asleep. Could never sleep on a train. Could never sleep on public transport, actually. I love you. I'll always love you. She felt like every moment she spent with him was wonderful. She felt so happy just repeating the same silly things with him. Meeting up with him, taking a trip to someplace far away, looking at the scenery every night as they ate dinner, having sex. Eventually, they got married. It was obvious that would happen, though, because the girl loved the boy, and the boy loved the girl. You're mine, and you're mine. Neither of them knew whether that was actually true or not, but their already strong bond was strengthened just from saying that to each other. She felt so happy as she reflected on the kiss they'd share after that. I'll be back. One day, after they got married, the girl began to think about something. Her happiness. Ever since she met him, she really did lead a happy life. There were things that made her envious of him, but the boy lent her the strength to get through all of that. Shit. Dropped my phone. I'm real bad about that. It's fine. My phone's fine. Actually, I pretty much only... That's not true. I can't say that. Never mind. Ignore that. Was that a result of his kindness? Or his personal worth? Every conclusion she came to seemed to be both right and wrong. She couldn't come up with an answer she was fully satisfied with, though. That minor concern of hers eventually became something of great importance. Hey, pretty girl. Play after I finish recording, I promise. Hey, what do you like about me? I guess everything. That made her happy, but it wasn't really an answer. That can't be true. We wouldn't fight sometimes if that were the case. She felt like the arguments they'd have sometimes proved otherwise. I suppose that's true, but I can't really think of exactly what I like about you so readily. He always ended this conversation like that. Besides, and he would always... lust for her body after that. Maybe it was the sex. She thought that might have been it. She loved to have sex with him because she was able to physically be one with him. Pleasure was just secondary. Maybe that was why she was that was why she was so happy. So happy. Thinking about it made her feel like that had to be the case. Sex is an act of affection that brings joy to men and women. A sacred act where men and women expose themselves to one another. So her happiness might have been in having sex. Her conclusion made her feelings more distinct. Hey, wanna do it? That's why she'd say that every night. Once they finished, she would always hold the boy's hand and fall asleep. The truth, though, was that she was unsatisfied. Or rather, she had a deep desire. She wanted to be even more connected with the boy, a form of happiness that couldn't really be expressed well. Was that form founded on them having sex? Perhaps time? No, it was something she couldn't even put into words. But she always thought about it. And she was always happy. The boy must have been happy too. But her desires didn't wane. She still hadn't been satisfied. She wanted to be even more connected with the boy. I'm home. Welcome back, dear. She used sex as an outlet for those desires. Even just waiting for him to get home was tough. She couldn't just pleasure herself. That was pointless. Only the boy could satisfy her. What she sought wasn't physical pleasure. No, it was the boy himself. They'd spend every night having sex. No matter the time of day. More. Give me more. Even after a year had passed. Even when the boy had a cold, the ums are all she can say. Even when the girl had a cold. Are you sure? It's fine. Even when she was on her period. They always had sex. Around the clock. She'd feel the male's genitals inside of her vagina, lovingly squeezing it over and over again, producing friction between the two of them, moving back and forth inside of her, and fulfilling her with the manifestation of their love for one another. She'd seek the boy even while they were in the act, and the boy must have too. After a number of years had passed since they got married, the boy noticed something off about the girl's stomach. When her stomach was swollen. I don't know. It was her 6th month of pregnancy. There was a reason she remained silent about it. Morally. Why didn't you tell me sooner? That's awesome. You have a baby. Hey, wanna have sex? That'd be dumb. We can't do that. Morally. She knew his morals would drive him to say that. The days following that were painful. All she had was sex. People all have different preferences. They all have different ways for confirming their love for one another. And to the girl, that was sex. But the boy refused to have sex with her after that. Slurp, suck. She would have sex with him while he was asleep. Luckily, he was a heavy sleeper. She was able to confirm her love without him waking up as a result. Eventually, she gave birth. The boy and the girl's baby, product of their love. Morally speaking, she should have been able to love that baby. Morally, at least. There. The boy gently cared for the child, more than anyone else. eventually, or even the child's own mother. Hey, dear. Yeah? Let's have sex. We'll wake a beaky if we have sex. Did you make her baby food yet? Not yet. Hey, come on. You're her mother. Don't forget that. I'm sorry. The girl felt conflicted. Morally speaking, she had to love her child since she loved the boy. After all, it was the product of the cloudy liquids of the boy she loved so much. Ibiki-chan. The child had her dad's eyes. Ibiki-chan. The child had her dad's smile. Ibiki-chan. It's Mama. But the girl had no interest in her child, though. The boy continued to love his daughter more than anyone else. It had been years since they last had sex. The child entering kindergarten, along with the boy getting a promotion, made the girl even more unhappy. Eventually, the boy didn't return home as often, and when he did, all he would do was look after his daughter and go to sleep. She saw the boy one day in the city. The boy was smiling. His daughter was smiling. And a girl she didn't know was there smiling as well. Huh? What's wrong? It's wrong. It's all wrong. This is wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. The girl thought to herself. This wasn't the lovely life she had dreamed of with the boy. The happiness, love, and acts of love she dreamed of. All of that was on hold for the time being. Because this was all wrong. The girl was watching TV one day when she caught a documentary about a family. A father holding his daughter, a mother watching them, their daughter smiling. Seeing that documentary with the sappy music playing in the background made her vomit. She changed the channel to a weekly soap opera. A woman mistakenly believed that her husband was cheating on her and was in the middle of strangling him. The girl laughed. And then, like everything she was holding back just burst out of her. Even her daughter laughed at her for laughing like that. To murder. That was a very logical reason to murder someone. Very reasonable. Only natural. The girl loved the boy. The boy loved the girl. So there was no problem with the girl wanting to monopolize the boy. She had the right to do that. Boy said this when they got married. You're mine. You're mine. They made a promise. And so long as neither of them were lying, then it was fine for her to own the boy. The boy must have been happy with that as well. To be fair, her desire to own him was definitely selfish, but it meant that they could love one another forever if she did that. I'm so happy. A documentary like that would make anyone cry. If they played Chopin during some of the scenes, anyone would be moved to tears. It'd be a love story never seen before. Ibiki-chan? Yeah? You went out with your father the other day, right? Yeah. Who was the lady you were with? Papa's friend. I see. I want to be friends with her too. Let's go together. Let's all play together. Yeah. Will you show me where she lives? Sure. She lives nearby. Let's go together. Okay. The boy was asleep in that lady's room. He was fast asleep. Must have been tired after working. Mama, why won't she move? There was a white towel in the room. Mama? The girl wrapped the towel around the boy. She is bleeding? Well, put simply, Mama? Mama? The boy died, letting out a strange voice. It didn't matter if the boy was dead. That wasn't a problem at all, so long as the girl didn't die. Because the boy would remain as her possession forever. The girl carefully wrapped her hands around the boy's neck, but she gripped his neck a little too tightly. The boy's neck snapped. His head was just dangling about. That was a little unpleasant. Mama, what's going on? It was a tragedy. The scene could be described as nothing else. Such a tragedy. Mama, what are you doing? Girl finally laid claim to the boy. Naturally, she wanted to have sex with him. But the boy wouldn't get hard. His penis wouldn't get erect at all. Couldn't rub their genitals together like that. Oh no. Mama? The girl realized that only made sense, though. The boy was no longer capable of doing anything. Even the girl, in such a lustful state, was able to realize that. So, she did what only seemed natural. She cut it off. She cut off her beloved husband's penis, and then she put it inside of her vagina. Squish. Her vagina was wet. She was soaked, more wet than she'd ever been before. That wasn't because of sexual pleasure, though. It was because the boy was inside of her. And while she had the boy's flaccid penis inside of her, he softly sobbed. Now they could be together forever. The boy would always be inside of her. She was so happy. Happier than she'd ever been before. I'm not going to yell into the microphone. Unfortunately, though, a horrid stench eventually appeared from the boy's body still lying on the bed, and the boy's penis still inside of her vagina. She didn't want to think about the consequences of her actions. That was true for anyone, though. Every love story has a dark side to it, and learning of that dark side is a profoundly sad thing. That's what the girl believed, at least. Even the boy she thought she'd be with forever couldn't be with her forever. She was a little naive for thinking that. She couldn't just leave the boy's body there, though. His flesh no longer served a purpose anyway. She was determined to throw it away. So the girl cut off a hunk of flesh and opened the door. What should I do? Her neighborhood was quiet that afternoon. No one was around. She stood there holding the large hunk of flesh. This is a problem. She figured she could have shared it with one of her neighbors, but no one seemed to be home. And no one seemed to be in the area either. The flesh was heavy, so she was reluctant, but she decided to sell it to the butcher. The girl thought that the butcher might even buy it because it was such a rare type of meat. She was hoping she could earn some money. She hadn't eaten anything in a while. Her stomach was growling from hunger. She passed through her neighborhood and headed for the shopping district. I don't know of a butcher that buys meat from people, whatever. There were lots of people there. She greeted the people she knew as she walked by them with a hunk of flesh. Hi there. Nice. Weather's nice today. Fucking hot and humid. Shitty. Kya! She was right in the middle of the hustle and bustle. Oh, what's going on? Katomi-san? Katomi-san? It was a little noisy today. She couldn't figure out why though. But she continued anyway, heading for the butcher. Hello. She greeted the butcher. Ah! Yeah, sorry, not gonna yell into the microphone. He was screaming. She didn't mind though. This was some meat I had recently. It was really tasty. I chopped it up myself. Would you be interested in it? I think this would be tasty, and the liver would rejuvenate your energy. Plus, it'd be good for warding off the summer heat. No! The noise grew louder over time. Even sirens could be heard. Girl eventually realized that the sirens were because of her, though. She was confused. As she was arrested, she ended up having to live in a strange place. It was quite leisurely. There was nothing there. No television, no books, not even a soft bed. The girl wasn't alone, though. Together. That's right. The boy was with her. The boy would always be inside of her. After she spent some time in that place, the inside of her vagina began to get really itchy. So it was so very itchy. Itchy. Tasty. No, I'm kidding. No, definitely not tasty. She was ashamed to scratch it, but she did anyway. And when she did that, a bunch of insects came out. She wasn't sure how they got inside of her. It was so itchy, though. She pushed the bugs away over and over again as she incessantly scratched at her vagina. She couldn't stop doing that for days. One day, she was scratching her vagina when the person who brought her here showed up. Time to meet with your daughter. And the person said that her daughter didn't care. Had no interest in that thing. The problem was her vagina. That and the boy. That person made her meet with her daughter, though. The girl looked at her daughter behind very solid bars. She was surprised. The girl hadn't seen her daughter in a bit, but she looked very much like her father. Even the mole she had on her earlobe was like her father's. The way her mouth looked was all just like her father. It's not right. The girl muttered to herself, "Oh," and then screamed. Hated it. Her daughter was more like her father. And she was like her. That wasn't right. It was all wrong. It wasn't what she expected. The boy belonged to the girl, after all. Her daughter wasn't worthy of owning the boy. You. The girl tried to kill her daughter. She wanted to strangle her. The bars got in the way, though, so she couldn't do it. Not that day, at least. But maybe another day. It was unfortunate. Hibiki-chan, you should leave now. A young girl who was with the girl's daughter spoke up. The guard held back the girl, but the other person said this. It's fine. I'd like to talk with 23827 or 293827 alone for a bit. Hey, pretty girl. The guard left after that. Who are you? Who are you to Hibiki? Don't you get it? I'm her guardian. The girl's impression of that person changed once everyone else was gone. The person had a very kind smile on her face earlier, but now she was wearing a frighteningly cold smile. PN 293827 FN Carson, real name Katomi Shindo. Interesting. The young girl handed the girl a business card. I wonder what FN means and P, I don't know, whatever. Only thing I could think of for FN would be like face name or something like that. But then again, I've been vaguely playing Mass Effect recently, and that's a Hanarth. Whatever. Have you thought about your happiness before? That was the truth. It was Katomi Shindo, right? I want to scroll up very slightly. Yeah, Katomi Shindo. That was the truth. Religious organization Hoenkyo, PN 4332242. Interesting. And that business card would change the lives of both Hibiki and the girl. I'd like to speak with you about your and Hibiki-chan's personal futures. Is that okay? Myth, Day 4, New Encounter. And I think that is where I'm going to end off this episode. I think it should be very apparent, very, very apparent why I remember that scene. Going into that scene for the first time without having, well, I mean, you've read through what you've read through so far, but that's something else. Man, it was a fun scene. It was fine enough, right? I love dark shit like that. Pop. But I think, well, next time we're gonna have a new encounter. So I hope to see you all there.